Immigration has been a problem ever since the United States was formed. It has always been a major epidemic, which is why nothing has changed since the 1800s. It all started with giving women rights, then giving African Americans the rights to their freedom and voting. Immigrants have been struggling for their rights, which they have never really had. Elizabeth Cady Stanton was one of the first female muckrakers that started to make a change to the right. She had uh, published a book called The Women's Bible. Was promoting, then it was offered a liberal view of the Bible and also explaining how God defined a woman's place. She had also became NAWSH member. Later, she became president. W.E.B. Du Bois and Ida Wells were first to fight in both women's suffrage and African rights, helping a lot. This was necessary because it has been a problem for a long time. Everyone who works and pays their taxes in the United States should have their rights. People achieve their accomplishments by exposing this. So this is what people have to do now in today's society. There's a lot of social injustice because people do not have their rights and they need.
Muckrakers are necessary to make a change in the world about the people's rights. Teddy Roosevelt was a muckraker president. He addressed business and monopolies. His first victim was Andrew Carnegie and his railroad. Jacob Riis addressed economic inequality and the living conditions of the poor. He also made a book called How the Other Half Live, talking about them as well. Lincoln Stephens addressed the examined political corruption in cities across the U.S. and started city managers and regulations. Ida Wells addressed racial inequality and studied African Americans being lynching. Frank Norris addressed monopolies and also wrote a fictional book to expose railroad monopolies. Thomas Nast addressed political corruption and was a political cartoonist that exposed Boss Tweed's corruption, and Tweed was imprisoned. W.E.B. Du Bois addressed racial inequality to promote higher education as a key to social mobility and established NAACP. Ida Tarbell exposed ruthless tactics of the Standard Oil Company and broke up the companies because it was declared monopoly.
Yeah, and then I'll do this.
Immigration was a problem since the Progressive era. Elizabeth Cady Stanton was a muckraker, but she was for women's rights. She was an active abolitionist and also had denied official standings to women's delegates with the help of Lucretia Mott. Both of them called for a women's rights convention that was held in Seneca Falls, New York. The convention and the Declaration of Sentiments was written by Elizabeth and later created with initially the long struggle towards women's rights and women's suffrage. Elizabeth and Susan B. Anthony were the ones determined to focus on female suffrage when only voting rights of freed males were addressed in Reconstruction. They were both founded by NWSA, National Women's Suffrage Association, and Stanton had served as president. There are a lot of problems in America. Immigration reform was one of them. Today, by legalizing 11 million undocumented immigrants, it would add $1.5 trillion in the U.S. gross domestic product and an additional $4.5 billion in tax revenue.
Not all immigrants are adults, but what about the children? Immigrant children deserve the same right as any other child. They deserve the security and compassion as well. In the summer of 2014, Americans were witness a humanitarian crisis. Has been frustration over failed immigration policy, which is understandable, but it is really necessary to hold children accountable for a failed American border policy or a foreign country economy and political problems. Immigrants also deserve a path of citizenship as we've worked to fix the immigration system. We should honor our heritage and our values, Xavier Baracy said. Has America forgotten its identity on the promises and opportunities come to their fair share of success of our nation? Between 2009 and 2011, more than 70 of the immigrants came from Asian and Northern America each year. The states with the lowest immigration policy is held in West Virginia in 2008. It just over 23,000 at a state population percentage of 1.3%. The U.S. has had a long tradition of its immigrants making good as good entrepreneurs. Immigrants businesses creates 162 billion in tax revenue. Immigrants are doing a lot of things in this country, and the government is destroying the things, and also are not giving them equal rights. If they are paying their taxes, they deserve a chance to live here. Just that they thought they could not have a criminal record, has been shown that they are doing the best to help to benefit the country. Giving immigrants rights has been a problem for a long time. Women that were born in the United States also had to fight for their rights. The women rights. After that, African Americans had to fight for their rights, and now the Hispanics are fighting for their rights. So it has been a problem since the United States present.